Hi guys, so today someone will be taking my interview. He has an experience of more than 10 years, so he's a JavaScript enthusiast and he will be taking my interview today. And in the end, we will know if I passed the interview or not. I have not really been working on JavaScript for a long time, so he's gonna be the judge of it and he'll let me know that if I passed the interview or not. It's gonna be based upon event loop questions. So it's something that I believe all of my students and all of people who are like learning JavaScript have this problem. Like, whenever they go to interviews, a lot of people ask these questions. These are like fundamental questions on event loop, async-await, and everything. So he will be asking me those questions around those things, and in the process of that, we'll be also be explaining you about event loop and everything, on why this output is in that way and everything. So meet Aman. I am gonna show the screen. So this is Aman. Hi guys.
Hello guys.
Yeah, so this is Aman and he will be taking my interview today. So he has an experience of more than 10 years. He has been working on JavaScript more than, like I said, 10 years, and then, almost all his life. So I believe I am kind of scared, to be honest. And yeah.
10 years seems to be the pattern over here. 10 years of experience is said enough.
Yeah.
I think so. Basically, MK reached out and then we're going to do an interview with him. The only thing that I kind of told him is that we will be touching base upon event loops and we'll do some trick questions around event loops. So that's the extent of information he has. And he's not been working with JavaScript a lot. So the questions are not going to be extremely difficult, but they're going to be slightly tricky. So let's see how he fares.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's go. Let's go to CodePad and let's hit it off.
Can you tell me the output of the code that you see on your screen right now?
Okay, so I see console log A and this set timeout and this console log B and this console log C. Set timeout has a timeout of 1000 milliseconds, which is like 1 second. So the output should be around A, and then it's gonna wait for this until then C is gonna execute and it should be B. Yeah, so that should be the correct output.
Right. So what if I change this from 1 second down to 0? Happen in that case.
Interesting. So in my opinion, it should still execute. The output should still be the same thing. The reason being, set timeout executes at the very end, like irrespective of whatever the code is. So it's gonna come over here, it's gonna take up console log A, it's gonna take up set time, it's gonna like put this in callback queue, and then it will just execute console log C, and then after that it will, after executing it will take up everything that is inside set timeout. So the output should be A, C, and B. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Moving on to the next question.
Okay, shall we execute this and just confirm so that the audience who are looking will just okay.
Okay, let's check the output.
Okay, sure.
CP, as you mentioned, is the correct output.
Yeah, the output is ACP. All right, cool.
I'm gonna put another block of code and let's see how that fares.
Full vote of confidence. Let's go.
So so this is the block of code right now. Can you tell me what the output of this will be?
Okay, so there's promise involved over here, and I see that this console log A, this set timeout, again set timeout, and this promise. So the only changes over here is promise. I think the priority will be like whatever is without any promise, which is A, and then the output will still be the same thing. It will be A, then the whatever is inside the promise will be executed, and then in the very end set time out would be executed, which brings the output as ACB again. Yeah, I think this should be the output.
Okay, let's run to check this. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, the output is ACB.
The output is ACB. See, I'm gonna put another block of code right now over here. So let's see what the output for that one is going to be. There you go.
Okay. So right now what we have is that we have two console logs inside the set timeout. So I believe the principle, firstly it will execute A. A is the first thing for sure. And like I said, whatever is inside console set timeout will be executed in the last. So now we have to bring the same logic of what we have learned from event loop like inside set timeout. So I'm assuming it should execute B first and then it should execute C. So the output should be A, B, and C. That is what the output should be.
Okay, let's run this code to see that. And there you go. That is good.
Yeah, that's A, C, B, right? A, B, C.
ABs. Good. So I'll put another block of code right now over here for you. Let's move from ABCs to some numbers. So this is the code.
Interesting. Okay, so you have added. Okay, so you have added like one set timeout 2 and promise.resolve, then console log 3, and then there's promise.resolve, then there's set timeout, and there's like console log 4. Okay, so output over here should be, of course, it will definitely execute 1 for sure, and then the output then next line of code would be 3 because it's a promise. We'll put this in callback queue, and then 1, 3, and then the output should be 2. Yeah, it should be 2, and then it should be 4. The reason being, so it's gonna execute. So this set timeout has been already added to the queue, and then it moves to this promise.resolve, and it will add this set timeout over here, and then after that, so it's gonna take this first one and it's gonna complete this job, and then it's gonna take the fourth one, this one, which is inside the promise.resolve. So in my opinion, the output should be 1, 3, 2, 4.
Okay, let's run the code and see what the output is. 1, 3, 2, 4, exactly as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's get a bigger block of code right now, and let's extend on this. There you go. Can you tell me what the sequence of output for this function is?
Oh, so there's no time in this set timeout. It's just without any. Okay. So okay, for sure, like the way that I approach to solve any problems, like write the most obvious answers. Like, so the obvious one is like we have to like remove the first one. Like the first one should be console log 1, and then we will have 3 because JavaScript executes line by line, and then here is set timeout. I'm gonna remove this, not gonna consider this, and then we'll move forward. We'll add this into the queue, of course. So queue will be 2 and 4, but 1, 3, and then we'll execute this because we have this, and we also have set timeout. Yeah, so and then we'll add this into the queue again, and then we will add 7. So the 7 will be after this, and then after that it will execute 2, 4, and 7. So I believe this should be the correct output, and the reason being, of course, like the first one should be over here, and set timeout 2, it will add it in the queue, and then it's gonna move forward because set time, where whatever is executed inside set timeout is executed in the end, and then there's promise.resolve. It's gonna execute this one, and which is why we have 3, and again we have encountered set timeout, and then we also have console log again, but it does not have set timeout, so I'm going to execute this. So it will JavaScript will execute this, and then we encounter set timeout again. So, but since these two guys are already added, this will have the least priority. I think I have not given. So I think the output will be 7, 2, 4, and 6. Yeah, I think this should be
Let's run this code. If the output is not correct, we can go through it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
So as you can see, the output slightly differs from your output over there. Can you double check that?
Okay, so there's like one. Oh, it did. So it does not consider the promise one. So it does not. Okay, so then there's like 7 over here. Okay, and there's 3. The reason being, yeah. So basically means that whatever is without any promise is executed in the first, and then the next priority is given to promises, and then after that set timeout is considered, which is why the output should be 1, 7, and then it should be 3, and then it should be 5, yeah, and then it should be 2, and then it should be 6. Yeah, so again, yeah, right, yeah, yeah, so we have to consider the promises after like whatever is in, if a set timeout is inside the promise and this set timeout outside the promises, we have to consider those set timeout console logs first, and then we have to consider the promise that is inside set timeout that is inside promise after that. So the similar logic that we have over here. So whatever is outside the promises should be executed in the first, which is why the output should be 6 and 4. I'm assuming this is the reason why.
So let's make this slightly more complicated. So let's wrap this up in this sense. So do you understand what's happening over here?
Yeah, so we are like, yeah, having a function. We're just executing the function.
Using the function right away, and then I have one log 8. Right? So if I reset this, can you tell me what the output in this case?
The 8 should be in the end.
It should be in the end. So let's run this code and check.
I believe we have to remove. And there's something wrong. Well, let's just wrap it up in.
Okay. So we'll call this
yeah.
Sample. This thing, and
there you go.
So we'll run it like this. So now can you tell me what the output would be?
Well, if JavaScript execute line by line, the sample function should execute first. The output should be the same. In the end, 8 should be added.
Okay, so let's run this.
Or yeah, I mean, oh boy. So the output is like completely changed. No, it did not change. Oh, so it actually, yeah, makes sense. So we have 8, not in the end, but in the third place, and then the output should be same after that. Yeah, again, the reason being, I mean, it will consider console logs first. So I believe when this function is called, the code is written in this way. So behind the scenes, this will happen. So it's gonna like do 1, 7, 8 first, and then so on. I believe this is what happens behind the scenes when it actually compiles. So which is why this output makes sense. 1, 7, 8, 3, 5, 6, 4. 1, 7, 8, 3, 5, 2, 6, 4. Yeah, I think this is what happens behind the scenes.
Right. So how JavaScript would execute, like you mentioned, when you uncovered it. So JavaScript would run line by line. So it starts with this one. So line 1, it starts with console log 1, and it prints it to console right away, even before it moves to anything else. It prints to the console. It then moves to set timeout. Set timeout. It identifies that there's a function over here. Then it pushes this function as a task to be run later. So this function with console log 2 is going to be a task that is going to be put in a queue. Then comes promise.resolve. Again, once the promise is resolved, so this one doesn't wait. We don't have something like an await over here, right? So it doesn't stop the execution. So it runs this code and then puts this in the callback. So then it puts it in the callback and then moves on. Similar thing happens on line 8, 11, and 12. It identifies that code and puts the callback in a subtask queue, which will be run later. Then it comes to console log 7. So nothing to wait over here. It prints to the console right away. And then it goes to console log 8 and then prints it to the console. So now when all the tasks are finished, so there's no more tasks left to be executed, that is when it would start to look at the callback queue, and when it goes to the callback queue, it would check. So there's a definition of microtask and macrotask, and the priorities would be given to promises before it's given to timeouts. So everything that is in promises would run first. So that's why console log 3 would run first. This is again within that, this callback has a timeout. So again, this will execute. It has a set timeout. So this function now will be pushed back to the callback queue. So that's why you see 4 towards the end. So this piece of code has run, but this piece of code has not. Then it pushes console log print console log to the end of the queue again. Then it comes to 5, and then again execute this callback and prints 5 to the console. Then it comes back the lower priority one, set timeout, which is the set timeouts after promises. So it executes this piece of code, console log 2 comes in, followed by 6, and then the last one that we put over there, console log 4. And this is how it kind of goes through the sequence.
Yeah, makes sense.
So the trigger, so the reason I asked this question is that you need to identify when is it that it will start to pick up something like this. So when is it that set timeout will execute itself? So it executes after all the tasks are completed. So once the call stack is empty, that is when it's going to start to look at callback queue and start to pick up tasks from there.
Yeah. And now what if we had a await over here? What would be the output like? I'm kind of curious. I'm sure everyone who's watching is also curious.
Because you still have the then block, we can execute this code and check, but you still have your code that is to be run in the then block. So this is not. So if you were actually using await, you would probably want to do console log 3 in the next line instead of using the then block. So now we are mixing promises and async-await. But if you run it this way, then again, this is going to be towards the end. But if we run it like this is going to get to this point, it's going to wait for the promise to resolve and then run this kind of code. So if we do it right now, I don't assume that a lot is going to be. So if we run, this is 1783, run it, 1837. So did something change? Where did 7 go? 1. Okay, so basically what happened is like everything what JavaScript does, everything after this await kind of got batched as a task to a callback queue. So it went ahead and executed console log 8, and then it came back to. So this is as good as saying promise.resolve, and then after that, everything that we have over here goes in over here.
Yeah.
So again, from anything that is after the resolve will only be run after the call stack is empty, and then so that's why 8 kind of gets promoted up to the top. And after 8 is done, there's no more tasks to be executed, and that's when it comes back to the callback. Thanks.
Yeah. Makes sense. Which is why there's like 1, 8, and 3. Yeah. Cool.
Cool. That's all the questions I have for you right now. And,
yeah, sure. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Do like and subscribe if you like the video, and also, I mean, if you really want me to make more videos like this, just comment down below and let me know. I will invite more people to interview me, and I will also be making a video after this on interview tips. And also, please make sure to check out my community on nas.io/superprogrammers community, which you can get the link from the description. You can go there and learn everything that you want to learn. And yeah, thank you so much. That was Aman Minhas. I will put the link of his profile in the description as well. And yeah, thank you so much. See you guys in the next video. Till then, goodbye and take care.